Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ladies of the Round Table. I'm Nicole D'Angelo, and we have to say with sadness that Carmen is not able to join us tonight. She is taking care of the arrangements for for the passing of her grandmother. So our hearts go out to her. But we do have Pixie here tonight. Hi, Pixie. How are you? I can't hear you, Pixie.
Hey, hey. I was
Yeah,
tweeting. Sorry.
it's okay. Why don't you tell us about who's joining us tonight?
Oh, I would love to tell you who's joining us tonight. Tonight we have Sarah Rodriguez, also known as Crazy Panther. She is the founder and editor-in-chief of Nerdy But Flirty, which is an all-female staffed geek and gaming website that focuses on diversity and other social issues in gaming. Wow, I cannot speak apparently. Uh, she's been a gamer and a comic book fan and a feisty feminist, which, oh, all
She
her
fits
life.
right in. Fits right in here.
Absolutely. She's a
Yeah.
person of mixed descent who is very interested in fostering diversity in the world of geekdom. And as her day job, she works as the social media manager for Geek and Sundry.
Hello.
And you work with one of my idols. You work with Felicia Day.
Yeah, I work with one of all of our idols.
Yeah, she is awesome.
Yeah, she really is. She's really driven, and it's really cool to work with her and get the behind the scenes on where all those ideas come from.
I love her, and I've loved her from the time that she did the Guild. Watch the Guild, and from when she was also in Doctor Horrible's musical with Neil Patrick Harris. Awesome. She's wonderful. But one of the things that I remember most about her is when she was talking about her gaming addiction and going. Did you ever hear her talk about that?
Not in person, but through like interviews and the guild and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. And it hit home because at the time I was playing WoW probably. I was sleeping less than I was playing WoW. And it was one of the things that broke me away from WoW and started me doing a podcast called The Addicted Gamer way back then. So pretty cool. So welcome to the show. You fit right in with us. I mean, totally.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Yeah. How did
Absolutely.
Carmen find you?
No idea. Twitter?
Twitter? She just
Twitter
started
would be my
tweeting us?
guess.
Okay. We
Yeah.
know that she goes to a lot of the shows. I thought maybe she bumped into you or something like that.
No, don't think so. I think we just started talking on Twitter one day. It was a long time ago.
Okay. So we've had you in the wings forever, just waiting to come on. And then finally you come on, and there's no Carmen around to help us out with this. So I do interviews on my site. I run well, right now, the actual name of my channel is Star Citizen AA. So I do a lot of interviews with the Cloud Imperium staff. So I ask questions a little bit differently. I like to drill down into your past. So
Uh-huh.
one of the first questions I ask everybody is, what's the first system you ever gamed on?
It was
Could
a
be a
Nintendo.
console.
It was a
Awesome.
Nintendo.
Which one?
The Nintendo Entertainment System, the first one.
You're not that old, girl.
Am I not? Because that's what I gamed on. No, actually, when I was little, I was with my granddad in a flea market, and
All right.
I think I was like 6 or 7, and I said, "Granddad, this is $35. Please, can I have this?" And it came with Duck Hunt Mario, and he was like, okay." And I played that, and it was the only game I ever had for it, and I played it until it died.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Good story. So, granddad got you that. So, was that the beginning of some kind of an addiction or a lure to gaming?
Oh yeah, I mean, my nephew, his parents loved to buy him things, so I would actually have to go to his house and play when PlayStation came out. We played PlayStation. I think he had a Super Nintendo. We played Super Nintendo. I ended up getting an N64 in middle school, and I actually hated almost every game for it. So meanwhile, he
Rogue
had a
Squadron.
PlayStation and a PlayStation 2, and I was just like, why can't I have the cool ones? Why do you keep getting me the consoles I don't like? Which is going to make a lot of fanboys really upset that I don't like the N64.
We know
Sorry.
Pixie. We know Pixie loves the Nintendo because there's some games on there she just absolutely loves, right?
Yes. Oh my god, there are some games that I just like still can't get over. I remember playing, oh my god, and the big one that I remember playing on the N64 was like Pokemon, like Battle Dome Arena.
I'm gonna make you even more
Like,
upset.
I was
I like
so in love
Pokemon
with that
games.
game. I was so in love with that game.
Yeah, I didn't like Zelda. I didn't like Pokemon. So there wasn't really anything good for me to play on N64. There was a Star Wars game that I loved, and that was
Rogue
about
Squadron.
it. Probably. I don't have it anymore, so I have no idea what it was. But
Were you flying starfighters?
my most distinct memory is flying my ship around the legs of AT-ATs to make them fall down.
Rogue Squadron. That was pretty
Cool.
fun.
Well, now I know. Maybe I'll go get it again.
That was good. That was one of the cool things about that. That was, for someone that liked that type of stuff, it was the only system to have for that one game. So at this point, N64, how old are you?
I know I was in middle school, so I was younger than 15. I'd say between 12 and 15.
So what next after that?
Well, when the PS2 came out, I got so excited. It was Christmas. I was like, I've told my parents what I want. I want the PS2. Do you know what they got me?
Another
The
Nintendo?
new PS1. The little
Oh,
baby
the
PS1.
the
that
slim
they
one.
did.
Yeah.
I was so sad. But I ended up loving it because I like played Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, Legend of Dragoon, which became my favorite game for like the next 5 years of my life. So PlayStation, I became a PlayStation fangirl ever after that.
Yeah. So do you own the current one?
Yes, I have a PS4 and a PS3. My PS2's back at my mom's house. I'm back, baby.
We've got all
up.
three here. We have PS2, the slim one, the PS3, and the PS4 all running in this house.
Oh
And two
man, you guys
Xboxes.
and your PSs.
Oh wait, and
I
two
have an
Xboxes.
Xbox too. Yeah, I have an
Yeah.
I'm all
Xbox
about the
360.
X-Bone.
Yeah.
That X-Bone.
So when you look at your high school years, what gaming system were you on by then?
High school? Oh, I had a boyfriend who was way too old for me, and he gave me his PS2.
Way
And it
too
even
old
had-
for you.
Way too old.
Did
for
mom
me.
and dad know about this boyfriend?
Dad's not in the picture. My mom knew, but she didn't realize how much older than me he was because we, of course, lied to her. We're not going to tell her that I'm
So is
dating
this
this way
like-
older guy.
Is this like someone that could have gone to jail?
Oh, yes. Very much so.
Okay.
I probably should have, looking back.
All right. Now,
Anyway.
well, you know, there's no statute of limitations on that, so we need to be
Really?
quiet. No, really. Statutory rape
Interesting.
does not have a statute.
Don't worry, he'll never find us.
No, it's not you.
Anyway.
It's the cops that have to find them.
Are the cops watching this? This is
There
ridiculous. You
aren't-
invite me to your show and the cops are watching me?
The cops watch everything. And
Dude, it's we all know that like the X-Bone has the NSA spy
Yeah.
bar. Like, come on.
that's it.
Like this is we all know this is going on.
It's all right. I'm on the Mac. Everything's encrypted, so we're fine.
Okay.
You just have dumbasses that don't have good passwords. That's all.
The fibbiting.
Yeah, we'll just be quiet now. So your high school year, he gave you a PS2 for sex, and now
For
what?
sex, yes.
Okay. We need
I thought
to.
it was a great trade, okay?
Hey, that's perfect for me. If you got it, use it, right?
No.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. We've got off the rails, down the rabbit hole. Let's get back onto this. So, what were your favorite
Literally,
games?
thanks.
PS2.
I played a lot of Tekken. I'm trying to remember actually. I actually remember my PS1 games better than my PS2 games. What was I playing on my PS2? Can you name some PS2 games?
PS2. We play a lot of the snowboarding thing called Tricky.
I played fighting games and RPGs and platformers were like my kind of games. So I think Jack and Daxter, Prince of Persia, God of War, PS2, right? I can't even remember. PS2 and PS3 games blended together for me in my memory.
Mortal Kombat.
We had every Mortal Kombat ever. Okay, so I
Guitar
played a lot of.
Hero, GTA.
Didn't like GTA.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
I think it was a lot of fighting games now I think back because I was playing Tekken, I was playing all the Mortal Kombats that came out, and then I was playing God of War. And Prince of Persia, Jack and Daxter, that sort of thing. I don't think there were games that I loved as much on the PS2 as what eventually came to become my big loves on the PS3.
What's your current? Okay, so hit that. So we're going forward to your college years at this point.
Yep.
So what was that?
Well, I remember I was at a friend's house and he was like, I got the PS3, and I'm like, I hate you. Also, can we play something? He's like, yeah, I want you to play this game. So I pick up this game and I start playing. I'm like, this game's too hard for me. And he's like, no, like, keep trying. And it used the 6-axis to shoot arrows and cannonballs at people. And this was like the hardest mechanic ever. I hated it until like 2 hours into the game. And that game was Heavenly Sword. And that was my introduction to the PS3, and it was amazing and gorgeous. And I hate that people didn't buy enough of it to get a sequel, because that
Yeah,
game was awesome.
that was a cool game. I remember going through the stores I would work in and play that on the demos. It was pretty fun.
So Heavenly Sword and then Little Big Planet was the next game he and I played, and I was totally addicted to Little Big Planet. And then I went and bought a PS3 because I was like, well, I can't do this. So yeah, most of my games that I played a lot were on the PS3. Dragon Age, of course, Mass Effect 2, more Tekken, more Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Far Cry 3 is probably one of my biggest addictions.
So you a shooter person now?
And Borderlands. It evolved. I wasn't
awesome.
a shooter. I wouldn't play games that had guns in them until somebody introduced me to the first Borderlands. And it was my best friend, and he was like, please just trust me and give this game a chance. And I was like, no, I hate shooters. I'm all about the swords. And he's like, come on, just shut up and play this game. And I'm so happy he convinced me, because then that opened me up to the world of shooters. And I've been playing shooters since. I'm still not like heavy duty. Like, I'm not a Halo girl. I'm not a Call of Duty girl. But I will play games with guns in them. And that's how I got into Far Cry.
So things like BioWare games or...
BioWare games are definitely my favorite game. They're my favorite company. So I've played almost all of them, except the first Mass Effect, because it was only on Xbox, and I didn't have an Xbox when it came out. I actually have it now for my 360, and I just haven't put it in.
It's a good game. If you've played the other two, you've got to go back and play the original. It just brings the story all together.
Yeah. No, it does.
I just started playing them through again after watching one of our friends here, Lady Sanea, play through all three. So it's really fun when you play through all three all at once. One after the other. Really cool. So Pixie, what kind of questions might you have for her before we move on to what's going on now?
All right. So if there was one game from the past that just summed up like you as a person, you as a gamer, what is it?
That's easy. Dragon Age.
Good question.
Awesome.
It's I got to be this badass hero elf lady that just killed things and got covered in blood. And I also got to have all these romances, which is a lot like my real life. And I got to be Queen of Ferelden. But that was after my elf lady playthrough, because as an elf, you can't be Queen of Ferelden. Whatever, do you?
Okay. That all, Pixie? That was
I think we've really hit into a lot of the past.
That was a good question, because I usually try to hit that one later. So what did you go to? Did you go to college for networking? Okay.
I went to college for communications. Originally theater. I wanted to be an actress.
You live in California?
Yeah, I wanted to be an actress. I was like, actually, I lived in Virginia at that time.
Okay.
And then I found out I'm a bad actress. So I moved on to cinema to try and be a director. But then I found out I have a vagina. You can't direct when you have a vagina. So then I moved on to communications and fell in love with that, and planned to be a PR person when I grew up. So I moved out to California and did PR for games like Skyrim and Mass Effect 3 and The Sims 3 and all these awesome games. So it's a dream come true.
So as a community manager, is that what you're doing kind of sort of for what you're on now?
Yeah, so social media and community manager at Geek and Sundry. So that's mostly, handling the Twitters and the Facebooks and the Tumblrs, chatting with the kids.
So what's your favorite task day to day?
I love tweeting. It's fun. It's the easiest answer. I mean, I get to actually tweet and interact with fans and find out what they think and have funny banter, and it makes people feel good that Geek and Sundry tweeted to them, so it makes me feel good that they feel good. So, and they're not as mean as the Facebook fans. Facebook fans, I'm like, here's a giveaway, and they're like, it's not for this. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a free thing. Sorry.
That's why we tweet out and we don't Facebook out.
Yeah, Facebook, man.
My daughter says, I don't do Facebook anymore because it's for old people like you. I'm like...
We just talked about
Thanks.
this in the office, actually. We were like, yeah, Facebook's dying. All
Yeah.
the parents got on, and all the kids are like, see ya, Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. Oh God, love Instagram.
Yeah, a lot of people,
Those are fun.
yeah, Instagram's probably the rising social media right now.
So what's the amount of playtime you get each week right now?
It depends on how much I commit. When I'm addicted to The Sims 3, which I am mostly addicted to, I will play until about 2 in the morning every night. So let's see, 6 to 2. I usually get home around 7.
Yeah,
So
that's a lot.
7 hours a night. That's a lot of game time. Maybe 20 hours a week, I guess.
Well, honey, that's in 3 days.
Okay, well, I'm not good at math. So moving on. But when
You're
I'm not
looking at
addicted,
35 hours a week.
wow, go me.
That's
Gamer.
awesome.
And that's not counting mobile gaming, which I do at work.
And what's your favorite mobile game right now?
The Sims.
The Sims. So what device are you playing that on?
What type of phone do I have? It is an Android phone. It is
Okay.
one of the newer ones. I don't know a lot about phones. I just tell people to make me get whatever is the newest thing that's gonna run what I want, and they're like, "Here, get this," and I'm like, "All right, I'd like to check out now." So,
Yeah. You ready for The Sims 4?
I'm not getting The Sims 4 for quite a while. Actually, it's nothing about it looks intriguing to me. They've done a really great job redoing the create a sim and the build a house modes. They look great. They look a lot more intuitive. But what I really enjoy about The Sims is like having babies and keeping people alive for a really, really long time. And the new Sims will not let you have toddlers, and toddlers are so fun. And my sim can die from laughing to death. I don't want that. I don't want that life for my sim. I don't want it to die at any moment after I spent all these days getting it to where I needed it to be. So until they make some changes, it's not for me.
Pixie?
That makes sense. So my question is, because I'm sure other people are going to wonder, Felicia Day, what's
Yeah.
it like?
Yeah.
You know what your boss is like? That's what my boss is like. It's such a hard question when people are like, "Oh, what's it like to work with Felicia?" Well, unfortunately, Felicia is my boss. So it's just like working with any other boss where you try your best to do something good, and if you don't do it the way they want, they yell at you and you want to go kill yourself because your idol thinks you didn't do something right. But then when you do something right, it's really awesome because your idol thinks you did something right. So it's just like working for any other boss. She is a human. She's not a magical pixie girl, so she brings us cupcakes. That's probably the best part about working Felicia Day. She'll be like, I was just passing by and I saw a cupcake place. And you're like, Felicia, there is no cupcake place within like 20 miles of where we work. Where did you go? And they're always like gourmet cupcakes. She brought macarons the other day. She Instagrammed a picture of them. I ate one of those from her Instagram picture. Famous.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of good cupcakes out there. So what part of California are you in? Is it the LA
I'm in
area?
LA. Yeah, LA.
Okay, that's
Right
a
in Hollywood.
Okay, that's better because LA is a big giant blob with a lot of little places in it.
Yes, it is a blop. A big
Yeah.
trafficy blop.
Yeah, I was there in March. I was in Huntington Beach and I had to drive to Santa Monica for a meeting with Cloud Imperium Games, and I was like, yeah, it's only 40 miles. That'll be like 40 minutes. Yeah,
Nope.
okay.
I had to get used to that. I'm from Virginia, so it's like, oh, this is 4 miles away. This is going to take me 5 minutes to get to. Well, here it will take you 20 minutes to get 4 miles.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And it's not a direct path. You have to drive in a circle to get to someplace in front of you.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy just to get around all the crap that's in front of you.
Yeah.
So you've been there for a year, and you gave
3
me
years,
the story.
actually.
3 years
I've
you've
been in
with them?
California for 3 years. Oh, I've been
I'm
making a
talking-
country for 1 year. Okay.
Yeah, we talked a little bit before the show started. Why don't you give everybody else that little story about how you got on to Geek and Sundry?
So basically, I just knew somebody who knew that I was really good at my job and knew that Felicia and her company were looking for somebody with my sort of specialty. So they made the introduction, and boom, bang, bing, was in there.
So what did it take for you over the last year to move from, doing their network to becoming part of, their social media director?
Right. So originally I joined on where they had a need, which was with the vloggers, because they started this vlogger program and they needed people who were able to create actual measurable growth. And that was kind of my specialty is, looking at social media and looking at analytics and then turning it into things we can do and like change. So that was really fun. And I ended up working my way up to director there. But the truth is, social media is my love. And I actually had gotten out of social media and PR to get into the YouTube world. I worked at Maker and I worked with probably a lot of Let's Players, and then I felt like I'd been kidnapped away and I wanted to go back. So when we had the opening for social media, I was like, hey, can I do this? And they said yes, which was nice.
Awesome. So I just can't get a grasp of working with people that have such a, everyone's saying, what's it like? And we've already asked that question. But I mean, you said it's like working for any other boss. So do you interact with her on a daily basis, or do you have a relationship like you do with other bosses where you rarely see her unless it's something that has to do with your personal work there?
Right. So she comes into the office about once a week. So we don't see her
Okay.
that often. She comes in for the big main meetings, and then we all handle the day-to-day stuff. And then, we have special things like we'll go to karaoke or we'll go to Korean barbecue or we'll do office outings, and she's always at those.
Okay.
So, I mean, and it depends. She has friends in the company who she does other things with, but I am not one of those friends. I don't have an
All right.
Xbone. We can't game together.
Okay. So let's move it to Geek and Sundry itself. Tell me a little bit more about the company, what you know about how it started and what it's what it's actually there for, like what their purpose is. Do they have a
Um,
mission, or is it just,
Yeah, so Geek and Sundry, I think, is just Felicia's creative outlet to make things that she wants to make. Stuff like the Guild, and we can go into our newer shows, Tabletop and Spell Slingers and Caper and Spooked. These shows don't make money on YouTube. There's no way that they can possibly make you any money with the level of production that goes into them. So what she needed was a company that could produce these creative shows that she wanted to make that she knew wouldn't do well on YouTube and actually be able to still make a living off of them. So as a company, that's a lot easier to do because you can get sponsors and you can get funding for things and you can work with people. Whereas as an individual, doing the Guild was extremely difficult until Xbox picked them up. And then it was probably still
right?
difficult, but so that's kind of how Geek and Sundry formed. And one of the goals is basically just to make television for geeks, essentially. Felicia
Awesome.
wants to give us stuff to like besides what mainstream folks like on television, and YouTube's a really easy place to do that.
So you worked for Maker and now you work for her. Maker is a big network that pretty much makes their money by siphoning money off of all the YouTubers out there, right? I mean, that's
Yes.
pretty much what they do.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be negative because obviously, if I'm a YouTuber, I have something to do with a company like that. For me, it's Maker because the company I go through uses them. So this is a totally different way of creating revenue from a YouTube. It's actually having a company that's going directly to the sponsors. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. So
And
like
then,
Spell Slingers is a great example. It's a Magic the Gathering show. We got
right.
Magic the Gathering to spend the money to make that show.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. And the other shows?
They have different things. I think Tabletop is well, originally they were all funded by YouTube itself. We were part of YouTube's special program where they put a bunch of seed money into channels that were doing something different that they knew, like I said, wouldn't make money on their own initially to try and build the creativity of YouTube. Because really what's going to make you money on YouTube, just plain and simple, is playing a game and screaming a lot or cat videos, right? So there's
Right.
not you're going to kind of stymie the creativity of people on YouTube. If the goal is just to make money and just to make a living, you're going to end up with less creative things. So YouTube made this program to try and make sure that there were these creative ideas on YouTube. And Geek and Sundry was one of those funded. So shows like Tabletop and Co-optitude and the last season of The Guild were all funded by YouTube. tabletop this upcoming season will be funded by donations because we did a really successful Indiegogo. So, that sort of thing. We talked to people. Unplugged was funded by Microsoft. That's why we used the Microsoft tablet.
Okay.
Don't be sad, chat. I didn't say there's anything wrong with cat videos. I'm just saying if the internet was just cat videos, you'd be sad, wouldn't you?
You're reading chat? You're
I'm
reading
not allowed
chat?
to read the chat?
No, you can, but it could be dangerous. There's some pretty spooky people in chat.
Really?
Who's
I'm
in
liking
chat?
all of them.
Who's in chat today, Pixie?
Oh, you think we have spooky? We actually do have some spooky people in chat. Because we have our moderators who are really spooky because they like to hit people. Yeah. And while we do not condone violence, sometimes you gotta throw down the hammer. So we've got our moderators, we've got Jericho, and we've got Aegon, who's also our show producer. Yeah, what? We have Season Star, which is, I believe, a Star Citizen player. So hype, shout out.
One of my
Star
supporters.
Citizen.
Shout out to Dark Icarus. You're my boo. I love you.
Oh, you know somebody in there?
I know a few people in here.
Did you tweet out for us?
Of course I did. I'm not going to be on a show and not tweet out about it.
You're amazing.
Oh, we like you even more now.
Aw, Mills, I just got Mills waifu.
Yeah. My people are all playing Star Citizen tonight because they finally released their patch version 0.9, so it's they're all racing their new M50s.
So I want to go back to you in gaming for a little bit. As we all know, I'm a PC master race. I'm guessing you were much more of a console person.
Yeah, so I wasn't allowed to touch the computer growing up, except when I go to my sister's house. I still remember one day it was 3 a.m. I used to just look up Dragon Ball Z all night. And one day my sister was like to her husband, "Do you think she's out there watching porn?" And he was like, "She's watching Dragon Ball Z." And so she went out there apparently and came back in and she was like, "You're right. She's looking up Piccolo." And she went back to sleep. So the only time I got to go on the computer was at someone else's house. So I didn't play computer games at all. My mom thought the computer was the devil. She thought Facebook was making our computer run slow. Yeah, so I was definitely consoles. I only just got a gaming PC 2 years ago because I thought I wasn't going to be able to afford a PS4. And I was like, I had my website to run, and I'm like, I can't just review old games. I have to be able to review new games, so I'm going to have to learn how to play on a PC. And it's hard. I don't know how to... Man, I play Elder Scrolls Online, and I'm hitting the wrong button every 3 steps because I don't have it memorized where the W is.
It gets better. It gets better as you get more used to it. It really does. PC gaming for a lot of people, it's not, you don't have a joystick. You don't move with the little nice arrow pad or the joystick. That's not how this works. It's a little more complicated, and it for a lot of people, it's just a different style of gaming,
right.
Based on your movements.
Yeah, no, I have a lot more respect for PC gamers now.
My kids are console, so when they play on the PC, I have to have a gamepad for them. Which just doesn't make sense to me.
I totally. Well, and there are games on PC that I really prefer with controllers.
Oh wow, what is that? Oh, is that South Park? What is that?
Is that Hello Kitty? Oh my God, I'm
Street Fighter. Oh my God. Oh, my trackpad battery's low.
There are definitely some things that I think even on computers are better played with control pads. Which is why I love Steam. Super love Steam, because it always tells you whether or not there's full or partial controller support, which is the best thing ever. Shout outs to Steam. I love you. You're amazing. And then on top of that, what games are you addicted to right now as of this exact moment?
As of this exact moment, it's still Sims 3, because I will probably never not be addicted to that. I'm replaying Dragon Age, and I'm replaying it so hard that I have only played the beginning of Destiny. So I think I have to say Dragon Age again, which is weird, I know. Don't Starve is my other current addiction, and then probably Elder Scrolls Online. But I don't want people to judge me off of my current addictions, okay? I play good games, but just right now, I'm addicted to what I'm addicted to. I can't help it. I want to keep playing Don't Starve until I survive 65 days, so sue me. And that's just how I feel.
love Don't Starve.
It's so fun. It's just one time though,
Don't
somebody in my
starve.
chat led me astray, and he ended up getting me killed when I had like 40 days. I was so hurt. It was the giant monster that smashes all the built things.
What
I'd
is
never
this?
run into him before,
Don't
and
starve on what?
Okay, so
uh,
Don't Starve is like a PC or console game, and literally the entire point is like you're in the middle of nowhere by yourself, and like you have to build your own little civilization, and you have to like get food and build shelter and keep
Oh, I
light
see that.
and
They actually
warm.
have that on the iPad.
It's like hilarious and awesome, and it's kind of
Yeah?
adorable. I love it. It's so much fun.
Okay, cool. So
yeah, it's definitely one of my faves.
does that satisfy any of the questions from Rainbow?
Rainbow
It
had a few questions. Let's go
it
see.
does. It satisfies, I believe, two of them.
Yeah, I think so because we already got the how did you get into gaming? So
Oh, and
that
my
was
favorite
Grant.
genre is RPGs.
Okay. And your dream job at this point, are you at it or do you envision something else in the future? I don't want you to get fired.
Right. So I definitely want to do social media for the rest of my working career, unless my book gets published and I get to be famous and make a lot of money.
Okay, we'll pray for that, okay?
Thank you. I want to be the next J.K. Rowling and just be like rolling in dough. I want to play video games all day.
All right. This is where we break a little bit and we talk about like some big stories that are going on. And I'm going to mute myself as Pixie talks about hers.
Okay, so as we all know, Apple has talked about the watch, the Apple Watch, and the iPhone 6. So for those of you who haven't seen it, there's gonna be a link in chat for you guys. It's from Gizmodo. It's gonna talk about the watch and the new phone. So the new phone comes in two different sizes. One of them is going to be essentially the size of the Samsung Note, which I have right here. It's kind of big. It's like, I don't know, a fourth of the size of my head. Well, yeah, okay. Basically, it just covers my entire face. It's a really big phone. I love this thing. But so they're releasing one that's like that size and one that's about the size of the S4. Now the funny joke is that everything that the new Apple phone is going to do is stuff that the S4 already does. So the big joke is like, okay, Apple, so the next phone you release is going to be the S4. Which is kind of hilarious to me. I do think it's interesting they're releasing the Apple Watch. I think it's great that, in particular, our technology is going to be more accessible. Samsung has the Watch too, and so I think that's really interesting. I am not a big fan of Apple, so sue me. But I do think that this is going to be kind of interesting to see, as we're going to see that Android is going to actually compete with Apple in a much more stable way. What do you think? Have you seen any of this, Crazy Panther?
I have seen a bit of it, and I laughed at that picture because I think I have. Is the X5 a thing? Because if that's a thing, that's what I have. I do not know anything about phones. I'm so sorry I can't contribute more to this topic. I know nothing. I've never had an Apple phone.
And I can't
did like
comment.
the picture. I like the picture of the watch made out of an apple that's traveling around Pinterest. That's all I got.
Yeah, and that's good
That's
because
great.
we all know that I have no comment. So basically, I can't say why I have no comment, but I have no comment. So I was going to go into Destiny, but I figure my topic was summed up very quickly by Sarah when I started mentioning
I could talk
Destiny.
longer.
No, you
I
can't.
could talk longer about it. I could do it. Watch me.
You can't. You can't. We like me being employed, okay?
Fine.
All right. So I work in an environment where everybody I work with is half my age, and they're all big console, MMO, RPG, shooter. You know, there's a whole bunch of different people. And what I'm finding is that there's a great number of these 20 somethings that are getting into Destiny and absolutely loving it. I've heard statements like, oh my God, it's playing Halo and WoW at the same time, which I can't fathom for the life of me. I've seen the gameplay. I played the beta for about 3 hours because that's all I had left to play after the 3 million megabyte gigabyte file came down finally on my slow Comcast internet. But I keep hearing some great things about this game. But then I started talking to you about Sarah before the show started, and you said what?
Basically, it's ultimately an empty shell of a game.
Okay.
If you go on Polygon.com, their review is pretty much exactly how I feel about it. It tries to be an MMO. Well, they claim they didn't want to be an MMO, but it essentially feels like an MMO, feels like a shooter, but it's not taking the best parts from an MMO and a shooter. It's kind of like there's no narrative, there's no reason. It's not dropping good loot for you. It's nothing to sink your teeth into, and just unfortunately that means it's just ultimately empty, and there's no reason to keep playing except that all your friends are playing. So I actually just bought it because everybody I know is playing it, and we all keep playing it because we're all playing it. Cycle.
I think that's the big thing is that a lot of people say negative things about a new game and then they wind up playing it for a while. But these are the same people that absolutely got me to spend $60 on Elder Scrolls Online, and I played it thinking it was Skyrim, and a week later I was like, this isn't Skyrim. It's not even fun.
Maybe you shouldn't trust those people. I'm addicted to Elder Scrolls Online not because I think it's a good game or fun or anything. It gives me loot, okay?
Yeah.
I'm a serious loot whore, and I need loot, and I started playing it because I got it for free to review. And then I just didn't stop because it keeps giving me things.
So everybody thinks the holy trinity in MMO games is priest, priest, mage, fighter, whatever it is, right? You have DPS, healer, and tank. To me, the holy trinity in MMO games is the gameplay fun? Does it reward you for the time you spend? And does it keep you wanting to come back when you're not playing it? And there have been games that have done that to me in the past. WoW has done that to me in the past. EverQuest in the beginning did, until I realized it was made for the person that was just too, we're going to leave it at that. Currently, the Star Citizen game doesn't do it for me, but there are other games in my life that do. I can't wait to get into... after Star Wars The Old Republic came out the first time, I hated it when it went free to play, and now it's another game I could play, and I get that holy trinity again, and then I'll stop playing it and go, I should go back. This game, you've played it, it doesn't have it at all? Nothing like that so far?
Right, it just doesn't. I mean, so for example, there's a boss fight with this giant spider thing, and it will take you probably 20 minutes. And I'm not saying that because I'm a bad gamer. I looked up other people say generally 15 to 20 minutes if they're doing a really good job to beat the monster, right? And you're just doing the same thing over and over. It's sending its waves over and over. There's nothing interesting, nothing changes. There isn't layers to the combat. You're just literally shooting a bullet sponge. And then it finally dies, and what do you get? Like nothing. You get some ammo.
No loot table?
Right, you don't get some amazing loot like, oh, now I have this sick helmet. Like, no, like you'll usually get one thing that's like, okay, this is kind of cool. Or half the time you won't. You won't get anything that's cool. And you're like, what did I just shoot you for?
But this is Bungie, where I had fun with the original Halo, but for me, my life in those games was always Halo versus Mass Effect. Mass Effect, not being an online role-playing game, all that other stuff, it had the Holy Trinity and the storyline for me, right? I got upgraded equipment, I got to unlock more of the story, and the actual gameplay was just incredible. When I played Halo, it was a shooter, like what my kids like, which is, Battlefield and Call of Duty, which to me, that doesn't have the Holy Trinity, but people are just as addicted to it. So I'm kind of like, when I'm looking at this game going, I need something on my PS4. And I think what that's going to be is just the remake of The Last of Us at this point.
I mean,
So
that's what we all did. We need something to play on our PS4 with our friends, and so we all got
yeah,
Destiny.
yeah, it's not going to do it, and Bungie's not going to be able to correct it and make it better.
So here's the biggest problem is they would need to have an actual story, I think, to make it better, or they would need to change up the way they drop loot. Or hopefully both. I mean, right now the story is just like, it has this premise. It sets this thing up that could be so interesting, and then it just goes nowhere. And you even end up backtracking over the same places for like 3 hours at one point. I mean, I just had to keep going back to the same location to do different missions, and that was one of my big problems with Dragon Age 2. So I wasn't really trying to ever have to deal with that again, but there it was. It shows off this huge, expansive world, but you get into it, and it's not huge, and it's not expansive at all.
Pixie, anybody in chat agreeing or disagreeing with what we're saying?
So I see. Let's see.
I see a couple of people.
I see a couple of things. Like, Icarus is going to pre-order.
Okay, which it's already out.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, JK. Maybe I missed something. I'm bad. I can't read chat. I'm done.
All right, done.
I'm done.
You're done.
Icarus was joking that he's gonna pre-order my book.
I'm done.
Can we pre-order your book?
You can't. No, it's not done.
I'll push it on my show. I'll
that would
make
be awesome.
Ask Citizen Star over there. I'll get everybody in there.
Like, obviously, I think people can enjoy Destiny. I think the issue with Destiny, in my opinion, because I don't have a PS. I don't like PS. But I have
a PC
watched
gamer.
it. I am a PC gamer, like, dyed in the wool. Like, I swear to God, if, like, somebody ever takes away my keyboard, I'm pretty sure they're going to lose their hands. And then I will cut off their feet so they can't run away, and I can beat the crap out of them.
All right, no more being violent. Come on, you're going to scare people away.
Let me just go.
No, you're staying, Sarah.
Like, the thing
I need
is,
protection.
I think that is a big problem. I think what games are trying to do is they're trying to combine genres to find this new fancy way of, like, putting a game together. And the issue is that when they're putting it together, they're not thinking about how the pieces actually fit within each game. Because if you look at any MMO, like, there's this great premise and this great, like, this great overall sense of, like, self-worth that you get within the game every time that you do something successfully. And if you look at shooters, there's still this great premise of self-worth that you get from, you know, completing said, like, mission and clearing, you know, all of these people out, or, you know, gaining the most headshots, or, you know, kills just in general. Like, you get something for it. Even if it's not like a physical prize, like, your sense of yourself is heightened. And that's the way it should be with any game. Like, you should feel good when you get done playing a game. And the games that don't do that provide you with a really good story. And the problem is what they've done is they've tried to do the self-worth, and they've tried to do, like, the like, pieces of MMO and, like, FPS games. And the way that they're fitting together, they don't fit together like this. They fit together like this. And so you have this hole where something is just missing. And for me personally, I do agree that it's a storyline, but I'm not sure that the storyline has to be that complex. Because I think in...
Well, it doesn't have to be complex at all. It just has to be compelling,
it needs to be
right?
something, yeah. Even if it's, you do all of these missions so that when you complete them and you're completely done, like, the world is safe. And it's like, even just something as simple as that would fill in that gap more.
Right. Like, I don't get that sense at all. I don't feel like the hero of this world, which is what I get when I play a normal, like, RPG style game, or even, like, Borderlands. I got to feel like I was the hero really helping people, but because there are no people really in Destiny, and you're really just going out into this place and killing bad guys, I don't get that feeling at all. Like, I matter to the story in a way, and that may have been a choice they made because it's so many other people are playing too that maybe you couldn't be that important. So I wonder if
Come on, but
that's
a lot
partially a
of
problem.
MMOs deal with that, right? And they still are able to have you feel that way.
That's true. You still
That's
do
a
feel like
really
the
good
hero.
point. That's a really good point, Jericho. And a lot of games that have been coming out lately, story has been sacrificed for the multiplayer aspects.
Right.
Right.
So
I mean, I
maybe
can tell
that's
you.
a problem.
And
Right.
that's
And
one of the things that when the game that I'm involved with, doing my show for, Star Citizen, that's one of the things that they're trying to bring back into it, that the storyline matters, right? So I noticed that that's something that WoW continues to bring back into it, right? They have that rich storyline that brings their games together. But a lot of these other online games, like when you're looking at Call of Duty and Battlefield, what brings people together besides running out into the middle of a battlefield and killing each other? There's nothing left. It's kind of like how, you know, digital music killed the album. This is, this type of multiplayer game is killing the game that I grew up with that has always been story driven.
well, I don't think it'll die. I think first of all, we have enough indie game people doing the right thing and being picked up by big companies that I think no matter what, they'll like keep it up. I mean, look at how many indie games PlayStation picked up because they were forced to, because that's what people wanted to play. And then on the other hand, we're always going to have companies like BioWare and honestly Bethesda who are going to say we want to make these story-driven games. So I think we're going to have both. I think it's just unfortunate that the vast majority are probably going to be, popcorn, easy to digest types of games because that's what the vast majority of gamers want. That's why I get a little upset with the story of the idea of casual versus hardcore gamer, because I have a lot of qualms with what actually makes you a casual gamer and what actually makes you a hardcore gamer.
Yeah. Okay. So, do we move on to the next topic, or do you have more questions for her?
I think we can move on to Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet. Okay.
So, Little Big Planet is releasing the Marvel edition for PS Vita this November. It's going to come out November 19th with new costumes and minigames. The minigames, Hero Rush, Shield, and Avengers Ultimate Escape are going to be composed of like numbers of stages for players to tackle and complete, with 18 Marvel character costumes for Sack Girl or Sack Boy. And it's going to be amazing.
This is how I feel about that. Self-hug.
I know, right?
I love Little Big Planet, and I really was surprised with how much I love Little Big Planet 2. So they've got me fully on board with the whole series. I'm gonna get it. Little Big Planet 3, like they keep stepping things up. And how many other sequels have they dropped the ball on when something was really fun? And they didn't drop the ball with Little Big Planet 2. And the Vita one is still fun to play, even though I have a little bit of problems with the controls because I suck at the Vita.
So you can buy this right on the PlayStation Store, it looks like. Pre-order, download, pre-order lit. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. So that's something I'm going to put into my wish list so when it comes out I can play, huh?
I would say definitely.
Looking good. Looking good. Got to have something on the PS4. Right now all there is last year's Madden and a game everybody gave all this hype to and didn't really come out too well, and that was Watch Dogs, but that's okay. Another one of those games that had a lot of promise and just fell short. Yeah. I guess the big PS4 game for this year is going to be the re-release of the digitally remastered Rockstar's very own. My kids play it, GTA 5. That's going to be it. Is there a story in that?
I mean, a lot of people like that game. It's not my kind of game. I definitely play games and read books and watch movies to leave this world and to go into a more fun world. So playing realistic games like that, I'm like, oh, hookers and horrible people and me being an asshole. This is real life. I live this. I don't need it in
hookers
my game.
and blow.
Yeah, like that's everybody's
Hookers
life,
and
right?
blow.
There's a lot of animals walking around behind you.
Yeah, there's 2 kitties. Don't make it sound like I'm a crazy cat lady. There's 2. You get crazy at the 3rd one.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
safe.
hey! I have 3.
Yeah, you're crazy. I'm
Oh!
sorry.
One of my
That's none of my
cats.
business.
One of my cats is like big, huge.
Well, this gray one used to be big, but now he's 16, so he just got really skinny and has hyperthyroidism. I don't know, cats, man. What are you gonna do? Bailey's pretty
Yeah.
big. I have a picture of him laying on me once, and then people thought I was a little person for a while because of how he like laid on me from here to here, and it's like I'm 5 feet. He's maybe 4 feet.
You're 5 feet?
I am 5 feet tall. Why are you laughing at me?
Because you and Pixie would be like in a battle for who's shorter.
I bet you Pixie's shorter because her name's Pixie.
I'm 5'1.5".
Damn it, I'm shorter.
Oh my god, wait a minute. I'm actually taller than somebody. What is
you're
taller than
wrong
1.5.
with the world?
I'm 5.5 inches.
I'm really tall.
So angry.
If I gave you each a half a foot, I'd still be taller.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Well, lucky
it's not
you.
fair. Yeah,
Getting
lucky
to
me.
be up there and look down.
Lucky
on
me
us.
looking at the I got to meet Pixie in real life, and it was really good looking down at the top of her head. Yeah.
I like being short because I can date almost any guy because you have to work really hard to be shorter than me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
The
there.
do.
only problem is like I can't even reach the top of my refrigerator.
Well, you
That's
don't
why
need
you
to.
get a
That's-
step ladder.
I was about to say
No, I
that's why I have a step ladder.
I just call my roommate and I then proceed to climb up on her shoulders.
Guys, that's
Aw.
intense. Just get a step ladder. It's cheaper. Cheaper than a
Saints Row,
roommate.
GTA. Okay.
It's actually
Alright.
way cheaper having a roommate.
My
bu-
cats are my roommates.
So, Pixie, you want to skip features? This was your feature. You didn't have one tonight,
So
right?
I do. I don't always post stuff in the show notes.
Okay, baby. I'm sorry. Do you want to go
Okay.
first?
I would love to go first.
All right, go on.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about Icy. We're gonna talk about a couple of interesting things that are happening. So first of all, the Go For ESL Icy Finals is this month, September 19th through the 21st. I'm going to be there, which is going to be super awesome and totally fun because I'm gonna get to see all of the people that I know in the game and like love, who are amazing, and because I've spent like 2 years of my life playing with these people and getting to know them. So that's super exciting. But they're also releasing a patch which is going to do some amazing things for the game. They fixed like auto attacks and like the amount of time that it takes for them to go off. They've fixed skill shooting after someone dies. They've fixed so many different things, and it's super awesome to see it happening. There's also a lot of like champ changes that are coming up, which means that they're taking the AD off of Harley, and she's finally going to be a support, like a real bona fide support. She's not going to be like super damage dependent. You can't build a ton of AD on her and just like face roll with ADC Harley anymore, like, which is super exciting. And I'm so glad to see a lot of these changes come into place because I think it's going to really give Icy the push that it needs to like get things back into motion and to really get the game back under control. Because there have been people who have left the game, who have complained and who have whined, because, you know, that's what people do. They don't understand that, like, devs are real people with real lives. Like, they're real people. Like, they don't sit here at, you know, the Turbine office, like, you know, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, fixing this game. That's their job. They still have wives and kids and husbands and like actual real life things to do, like sleep. Like, who doesn't think about sleep? And so it's really exciting to see this come about. And I am super excited to see not only what the Go For Cup holds, but also to see what this patch holds for the game itself. Because there's been a lot of input that's gone out that the Turbine staff have really paid attention to and have put within the new patch, and it's going to be super amazing to see how like the community and the input we've put back to them is going to like shape the game in some way. I'm like super excited.
So when you play, what character do you pick most often to play? Or what
So
class?
in IC, there's attack damage carries, there are power damage carries, there are tanks, there are melee bruisers, and there are controllers. I play controllers, which are, if you talk in terms of League or Dota, they're supports.
Okay.
But they renamed the class in IC, so they're actually controllers. I play controller like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's like my life.
And like, could any character model be any class, or are they specific to certain?
So each character model is a specific class, but they can be moved around and used for different things in some cases.
Okay.
Green Lantern Prime is actually a power damage carry, but you can play with him as a support. You just have to understand that that lane's a kill lane. You can't like sit there and sustain in lane for years and years and years. There is no real sustain. That lane is literally made for securing kills and getting your lane fed and snowballing the game.
Okay. So a lot like, well, this is a classic MOBA, so you're playing all lanes and okay. We've talked about this before. Have you ever played a MOBA or seen a MOBA being played, Sarah?
I have the guy who used to sit next to me at Maker was actually really big into Dota, and
Okay.
it was actually cutting into his like normal living a normal healthy life actually. So I heard a lot about it. And then I worked with the PR company that did the stuff for at one point, so I knew a little bit about League of Legends. But I myself have not ever played because it's very intimidating to, be like, okay, well, I'm this person who's going to be that sucky person that I hear everyone else complaining about when they get them on their team. I don't want to be that person. I'm just going to stay over here and not do that. But I want to. I still want to.
So the great thing about MOBAs is it does not just throw you into the game. So there are tutorials. There are also bot games where you play against computers. And then you get into a normal game. But the way it works is it does matchmaking. So you're placed with people who are on your skill level. Unless you're smurfing, which is a little different. Smurfing is when people who are higher level accounts get tired of like really long queue times because their ELO or MMR is too high. So they'll make a crappy account then start from the beginning again, just so that they can play more games.
Gotcha. Okay, well that makes me a little less scared. I wish Titanfall had a damn bot system. I get in there and I die every 3 seconds and I'm like, I'm not learning how to be better at this game.
Isn't that the way all those games are? I mean, I watch my kids.
No, normally you have like a single player mode you can play and like at least learn how to do what you're doing.
Isn't there a campaign?
Titanfall does not have
There's
that.
no campaign for Titanfall?
You're just thrown right into it every
Holy
time.
Holy cow.
You get a little tutorial in the beginning, but it's literally like do this once and you're done. So it's
my
just not
sons
helpful.
begged for that, had to have me pre-order it, got it, and oh my god, just they stopped playing it within about a month. It's I told them from now on when games come out, we wait a month.
Yeah, it's hard. It's one of those games that it's super duper fun, but there's nothing to pull you back when you're tired of playing. Like you mentioned before, there has to be something that makes you come back to it.
Yeah.
So there's no story really. There's like a hint of a story. There's no magical loot thing that you're getting. There's no story mode for you to play and try to beat. It's just playing with people. So if you get tired of doing that one night and you stop doing it, there's nothing to ever make you come back and pick it up again. Unless they come out with new modes. They just came out with a new mode that's pretty cool, which is basically you get marked for death. And so every few rounds, like, you will be the person who everyone has to go find and kill. And so that adds, like, a fun little new mechanic. But if you don't try it again when something new comes out, then, yeah, you have no reason to go back and play the game again.
Oh, that is crazy. That's crazy.
That was so stressful because when you're marked, you hear in your the noise you hear is like, meh, 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 like, oh, and I'm about to die. I gotta go. I gotta go.
That sounds fun.
It's really intense.
That sounds really fun. All right, let's see. Nobody yet in chat. So the big item I had is I was able to get with the vice president of marketing of Cloud Imperium Games and sit down with her for a second interview. I interviewed her back earlier in the year, and now that they've gone through their next great Starship contest and they've had $53 million in crowdfunding, we sat down and talked like the future of the game. And she's been doing a lot of research into esports and trying to figure out how to get esports into this spaceship trading, first person shooting type game. And she's actually gotten some sponsors to start a esports tournament in their racing of their ships starting in January. Well, in January, they're going to release the information about how that's going to take place. So this game that started out as a space trading game and grew to be a space trading, space combat, first person shooter, own your own bars, meet your friends, it's a little bit of everything, is now turning into also a sponsored esports title. So it's going along real fast into, taking a little bit of everything into this one game. And my question to myself is, I'm a big part of it because I've dedicated a whole news channel to it. Is it getting too big now that they're adding these type of things into it? So it's one thing I worry about.
I think esports is a beautiful thing, and I am all about it. Just watching how much potential every esports event has, and looking at other people in the marketing realm, which, I'm in communications, like, do you not see this? Why are we not all on top of this right now? It's just so much coolness. I mean, they even have in California now, we have our first course that's like our first scholarship for esports, and they're gonna have like an esports team, and it's like an actual varsity team at a college, and that just blows my mind. I'm like, yes, let's make this a big thing like it is over in Asia. So I'm all about that, and I think any game that can find a way to get itself into esports, it's a smart decision for that game. Well, unless it's really trying too hard.
Yeah, well, because they did this, they actually signed a deal with AMD. And that deal brought up a ship that is going to be in the game with AMD logos on it, which really makes no sense in the game. So they had to create a phony company in the game to actually do that because they don't want that type of advertising to intrude on the actual game, because the game has a rich storyline, and AMD just having something in the game is just a little bit absurd. But what they're doing is keeping it down to that one piece. It's a logo on a racing ship, which today, if you go to an F1 race or a NASCAR race, you've got Red Bull, you've got Best Buy, you've got Mountain Dew, you've got Coca-Cola, you've got cigarettes on the cars. It's one of these. I don't know if they have the Marlboro car anymore. I'm sure they don't. But it becomes this thing that makes sense to me, but it actually turned into some big controversy about them bringing in game advertising. And people didn't listen to my interview because I really only have about 1,100 subscribers, so I don't get a lot of people watching. But even the people that watched my show didn't get it. They didn't see where that was going. If you're going to do esports, it's a lot of money. You can't just say we're going to do esports and have the company fund it, because the company will go broke. You have to have tournaments around the country. You have teams being paid out. You have to pay for the internet connection to host all the games and televise them on Twitch, right?
And the space that you're going to hold it in. There's so many things you have to spend money on. And I think what you just described doesn't sound intrusive at all.
Yeah, it's not, but it did cause a big stir. And that's what, my original thing was going to be like, oh, wow, patch 0.9 is out. And this is really the hot topic for them right now, which is, this is a game that's captured almost 600,000 people getting into it already, and it's not even out. It's in pre-alpha testing, and they're already starting to get into esports with it, with a tournament next year before the game is even out and live, which to me is intriguing. And this woman who, think about it, vice president in charge of marketing in a male-dominated market, right? It's
Yeah,
like not.
pretty crazy.
She went around, and esports is, Mick Pixie, am I wrong? It's kind of male-dominated. I mean, you're in
Oh
it,
no,
and Holly's in
it's
it.
totally male dominated.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
go to a lot of esports events.
And here's Sandy that goes and gets all the sponsors and is ready to pull the trigger. And people don't look at that. They look at, oh, this stupid shit with AMD's logo on it. Hey, AMD is sponsoring this tournament along with other companies. This is one of many things that, we put up with it, but we're going to have something really awesome to watch later on. Hopefully, if the racing piece is good, I can't get into it. Their servers, because they only went live this afternoon, are packed with people trying to do it, so I haven't been able to. So this is just something that gets me about how, sometimes people have these things that I want to play my game. I don't want to be in Call of Duty and have Coke signs throwing themselves at me. But if you want to get paid for playing Call of Duty in a tournament,
You have to
then
put
you're
up
going to
with
see
that kind of thing.
then you're going to see Coke signs,
Right.
and you're going to see
Yeah.
Razer mice, and you're going to see
Yeah.
Logitech headsets.
I agree. I think gamers, we're a very entitled group of people.
Right.
And that's like the biggest thing. Like, there's nothing you can do to make all gamers happy. And
No.
people are going to have a problem with something or another. And it's just, we have really ridiculous demands. We want a game to come out immediately after we finish the first game. But we don't want it to be shitty. We want
Right.
this game to be new and innovative, but we don't want it to have anything changed about it. Like, we want to be able to do really big things and have a place in the world alongside music and movies, but we don't want to give in to advertising or sponsorships. I mean, we're very entitled, and as long as we keep
Right.
not seeing the big picture, that's just gonna be what it is. Hopefully
Right.
there's enough of us who see the big picture that,
I
we
think
can
there
make it
are.
happen.
I think there are. I just think some people are, you've got the people that download their music, and you got the people that buy their music, right? And I see, even with the MMOs where, some of them have subscriptions and some of them have go and buy vanity stuff, and people get upset about both of those things, and they don't realize the cost of running servers. So yeah, that's kind of this one got to me because I talked to Sandy, and I spent a lot of time on that interview, and I'm sure neither one of you watched it yet, but I spent a lot of time on it, and I got her to really open up and talk about these things, and people didn't hear what she said. They just heard advertising, and that, to me, that's like, I spent a lot of time with her. I had her open up. She took an hour and a half out of her day to sit down with me, which she didn't need to bring you guys this information. So I guess I take it a little bit harder because I'm really nitty gritty about, I'm OCD about my show. I want everything to be perfect.
Well, I mean, I work in the YouTube industry.
Yeah.
When ads came onto YouTube videos, people threw a fit. But meanwhile, they wanted people to make videos for them every single day. Like, if I have a job, how am I making a video for you every single day? This needs to become my job. It's something that
now ads,
right?
Ads don't even make you money these days.
They don't. They make very little money.
Yeah.
People are having to switch over to like their own websites, or they're having to move to somewhere where they can make you pay a subscription. And people get really upset about that, but it's like, you want this content I'm making you. Why aren't I worth what you would normally pay for a service?
Right.
Yeah.
I spend 30 to 50 hours a week on my shows, right? Because if I don't do enough of them, I'm not getting the information out there. And there's so much that happens that if I don't do enough of them, I'm winding up doing one show that's too long for anyone to really watch. So I spend 30 to 50 hours on it. I've made $60 from Maker so far in 113 videos. So there's a new place that even LORT is part of, Ladies of the Round Table, where people can choose to support you by becoming a patron, and that's patreon.com.
Yeah,
and
that's a great site.
We have individual Patreon accounts. Mine's patreon.com/Batgirl. And Aegon, could you type what LORTS is so I can get that out to people? It's patreon.com/LORT, or is it Lord of the Round, Ladies of the Round Table? It's one of those two. We'll put it up on the website. You can get there from ladiesoftheroundtable.net. But that's a way to support people like this show, my show, and let's face it, even I think Will Wheaton has a Patreon account. I'm not sure.
Pretty sure. I know one of our
Yeah.
vloggers on Geek and Sundry, Nika,
Yeah.
has one. Actually, a few of our vloggers have them.
Patrick Beja, who did, and I'm sure if anyone's a WoW player out there and listens to The Instance, I know they just started one, which is Scott Johnson and his crew. So it's a way that you can guarantee that you got income coming in because, hey, I pay an extra $130 a month to Comcast because I do my videos and they charge me going over the cap. So that's one thing. So we're going to jump off of this, hey, help us get paid thing and jump on to a few more questions for our guest because that's much more important. So I really appreciate you coming here tonight. That was amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And it was a welcome surprise to know that it was you because I obviously had a lot of work to do today at work, lots of conference calls too. And to come home and look at the show notes and say, hey, it's someone that works for Felicia Day, that's pretty cool. But you're cool in your own, in your own respect. Because
I'm not as cool as Felicia, though.
Well, you might be.
She's
because
pretty cool.
we didn't touch enough on the other place that you work for, right? Which is
my own website.
Right.
Yeah. So Nerdy But Flirty is an all-girl geek and gaming website that I started in college because I was a PR, public relations major, and they used to say, oh, you should have a blog so that you keep up your writing skills and blah, blah, blah. So everyone else was making tips for PR professionals. And I'm like, how am I going to make tips for PR professionals when I'm like in college? That's dumb. All right, so what's something I love? Video games. So I started this site. First it was just sarahtherebel.wordpress.com. And then people wanted to help me. So it ended up becoming Nerdy But Flirty, a name I picked because it rhymed. And
it's actually awesome.
Thank you. And it became just a place to talk about games from a feminist perspective and from a perspective of increasing diversity, both within the LGBT community as well as with race and culture, and just a site to talk about the things that really matter to me and eventually to all these other people who joined me and started writing for the site.
Okay. Now, somebody is asking again what your favorite game is. Again, could you just tell them what it was? You had a couple that you threw out before.
I do. I always have a couple. So I guess my favorite old game is Legend of Dragoon. My favorite RPG is Dragon Age. My favorite fighting game is Tekken Tag Tournament. My favorite shooter is Borderlands.
There you go. So we got that one out 3 times tonight, which is awesome. Thank you very much for your questions in chat. We really appreciate it. It helps the show a lot, believe me.
Absolutely.
So Pixie, final questions for her?
Okay, so
before we get into what we're watching.
If you could spread one message, what is it?
I think my one message I would like to spread is, hey, remember how much it sucked when you were younger and you got picked on and people didn't appreciate what you did? So how about you have a little compassion and we all treat each other the way we would want to be treated, and whether the gamer next to you is gay, a woman, black, disabled, or anything else, you treat them like they want to be treated, like a gamer. And let's all just fucking play games.
Awesome. Love it. So this is the part where we talk about, real quickly, it's usually brief, about what we're watching this week. Pixie always has some amazing shows that she brings to light that I write down and go and watch later on. What are you watching?
Okay, so
you are
I
so
just
excited.
Finished, oh my god, I have so many shows. I just finished watching The Quest. It's like super cheesy and dumb, and I don't know why I love it, but like something about it is just like really feel good for me as a nerd. Like it's so feel good for me as a nerd because I get to see all of these people who have the same like passions and interests as I do, like go into this imaginary world and like try to be like a hero. And I don't know, like it shows you like the heroism and like people in their like normal state, like that. Yeah, they're in this alternative world, but there's still these people from like where we are, and it's just it's so good. It's amazing. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's like super feel good. Please be aware it's like 100% cheese-tastic, but it's amazing for me. So then Utopia. I'm super excited about Utopia. It's a social experiment. They take 15 people, they put them together, they make them like create their own laws and stuff to try to create like their own little perfect society. So it's really good. You should definitely watch it. It's really weird though.
Are you live streaming that? Are you live tweeting that?
Utopia?
Yeah,
No.
I thought Carmen put you on that last week.
No. I've like thought about it, but like I don't know. I don't know how I feel about like live tweeting while I'm watching shows because I'm pretty sure like every time my phone goes off, I'm just gonna want to throw it at a wall. Cause like stop interrupting me during my shows. And then so I'm super excited about Grey's Anatomy coming back because like I like Grey's Anatomy. I don't know why. Like it's horrible television, but like I love it because it's like
without
full of
Christina?
drama and intrigue and love. Christina Yang was like one of the best things to ever happen to that show.
No Christina?
But I think they're gonna bring something interesting to it with her being gone. And I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how like the first couple episodes of the season play out.
Okay.
And then How to Get Away with Murder is going to be amazing. So amazing. And then
you're next, Sarah.
Scandal.
I'm excited.
Like there's so much stuff on like coming up on television or that I've been watching that I'm like just so excited about.
Yeah, my daughter got me into Scandal, and I was like very excited recently, and haven't been able to watch it when the next season came on Netflix. So I can't.
It's so good.
I have to wait until I get my business internet so I don't go over my limit. So I'm waiting till next week. I get installed on the 15th. So I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait. So, Sarah, your turn.
So first, as far as the quest, I'd never heard of it until somebody on Twitter said, "Hey, Sarah, this is the girl you remind me of, Letitia Reyes on the quest. She's like a paladin, apparently." So anyway, now I'm interested in watching it because I'm like, oh, I'm vain. If this is like me, I'm going to go watch it. So you're not going to like my answers. I can already tell.
It's all right.
So what I'm watching on TV, Steelers football. Go Steelers. And this anime called Bodacious Space Pirates. It is about a pirate girl who doesn't know that she's a pirate yet, but she finds out she's the daughter of pirates and has to learn how to be a pirate very quickly due to space law. And it's full of like
what's it called?
Bodacious Space Pirates.
Where is that?
You watch it on Crunchyroll. Look, it sounds like it's gonna be.
I gotcha. It's an anime.
Right. So it sounds like it's going to be this like, oh, it's going to be these girls in little skirts with their boobs out. Nope. It's about like normal, natural female friendships and about like just being the best at what you could do and healthy mother-daughter relationships. Like they go off and their bonding is like shooting together. It's like, it's so good. Okay, sorry. So I'm also watching another anime about volleyball that I don't know the name of because it's in Japanese, but I hate that I keep watching it, but I do. Because the guy that I hang out with the most loves shows like that, and I tried to not watch it, but I ended up watching it anyway. And then, you know what? Everything I'm watching is anime, and I don't know the name of it. I don't watch real TV.
My shows are really dark. I watch Netflix, that's it. So that's what I've been watching. So I'm getting through the last season of Breaking Bad, and at this point I'm just wishing I had a gun to shoot Walt and kill him, get him gone. Protect Jesse, get rid of Walt. I started watching Californication. Oh my God. Have you guys ever watched that? No, of course not, right?
It's got to have dragons or some crazy shit in there for me to watch.
No, it has David Duchovny. You know, Fox Mulder from X-Files.
Oh, I know who that is, yes.
Yeah. And he's like a sex addict from what I see. And he's a writer that's stuck in a rut because he broke up with his wife, and he's just one of those guys that's always winding up in bed with somebody because he's good looking, and it's pretty cool. Has a couple of like really wild character stories in it. I love it. And I guess I can talk about Doctor Who, but I've watched the first episode, but because my neighbors across the street keep on summoning us across the street until 4 a.m, I haven't watched episode 2 or 3. So I'm very excited about being able to watch that over the next couple of days.
Oh, that's right. I watched the new Sailor Moon Crystal. I realized, wow, that show is really, really, really girly. It's not for me.
Oh, it's not?
It's so girly. Oh my God. It's like, oh, there's a giant spider on my wall. I'm going to kill that in a second. It's like, oh my God, we got to go and buy jewelry if I'm good at school. And oh, this guy's so cute. And I'm like, this is worse than the volleyball one. So it's not really my
Okay. So
Kill
that's
the
pretty
shit out of
cool.
you, Spider.
You guys had much more interesting shows than me because everyone's already seen mine except for you guys. No,
Except for us, we're the only ones who aren't cool enough.
it's all right. It's all right. So, I really appreciate you joining us tonight. If people want to get in touch with you or see your work, what are the 2 places they can go to?
They can hit me up on Twitter, Sarah the Rebel. Sarah has an H because that's the only way to spell Sarah.
No,
My angry face.
no. There is no H because H's are ew.
No, there's only an H because in the Bible, that's the way it was spelled.
Okay, Jimmy
Oh, shots
Jimmy-
fired.
Jimmy Fallon, ew girls. No, I know.
I'm picking. I don't actually care how anyone spells their name. But my
My
name's
roommate-
Sarah with an H.
My roommate's name is Sarah. My niece's name is Sarah. Everyone I meet is Sarah
It's because
With an
we're
A.
the best.
with an H. So that's pretty
Yes.
cool.
See,
So
that's why.
we have those 2 places. Pixie, where could people find you besides us?
You can find me on Twitter at Monster Mash P. Super simple, super easy. You can also find me on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Monster Mash Pixie. What? Which is also my chat name, and I'm in there, so you guys can find me and you guys can come hang out while I play Icy.
You can find me on YouTube and just look up Star Citizen AA. That's my channel. Twitch, I will be streaming again as soon as Comcast installs my business internet, and that is Nikki65. And I'll give you what?
I totally forgot. I have a podcast now too. It's
So
a
let's hear
Rebel
it.
Face podcast. Yeah, so me and my friend Katrina, who used to do the social media for Geek and Sundry, we talk about gaming and comics as crazy cat ladies, and it's on my Twitch channel, which is also Sarah the Rebel. Sorry.
Awesome. Good to know. And do you also have it in audio up on either SoundCloud or one of the other places?
We're working on that, but for now, if anyone wants to watch old episodes, they can go to youtube.com/nerdy-but-flirty-videos.
Awesome. So podcasts are fun, especially when they turn into audio only, because then when people are driving those 40 minutes to get 5 miles in California, they have something to listen to.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're just not tech savvy. Anything but video games.
That's pretty good. Well, you got to get yourselves a Aegon. Aegon takes care of everything for us. If you get somebody
Yeah.
like him, you don't have to worry. He's
Yep.
amazing.
I would like an Aegon. Aegon, come to the dark side. I have cookies.
Uh-oh. Yeah,
Just kidding.
Carmen will rip your heart out.
That sounds
Oh,
sexy.
yes, she will.
But we love you, Aegon. Don't leave us, please.
Don't
and-
leave them for real.
Yeah, don't leave us. So my Twitter is Star Citizen AA. I do have a personal one. I'll probably give that out another time. And I think that's where we're at. So we're going to go to shout outs. We're going to start with our guest of honor.
Oh, I
That
get to
is
give a
you.
shout out?
Who do you
What
wanna
do you
give
usually
shout
shout out? People?
People, friends, things, people that you just had a interaction with, whatever you want to.
Okay, so Espionage Cosmetics is a group of girls who make nail stickers that are perfect for nerdy folks like us. Like they make like real galaxies into nails and Wolverine nails and any kind of video game you could think of nails. They're really cool and they're doing a Kickstarter right now, so I'd like to shout them out. And then I want to shout out my 2 friends in the chat, Male Spy and Dark Icarus. I love you guys.
Yay. Pixie?
So shout outs to Mal for being here. I love you, Chris Mal. You're my bestie. Best person world. Also, like, my favorite AD carry in IC. So shout outs to Jericho, one of our awesome mods. Shout outs to you, of course, Sarah, for being on the show. We
Aw.
really appreciate it. It's been tons of fun. And shout outs to Aegon, our awesome producer, and to, of course, everyone else in the chat who's been here and put up with us for the past, hour and a half. We love you guys, even if you don't love us.
It looks like they love us. They want this to be the lineup from now on. That's
Hey,
not
I'm down
gonna
to
fly.
come back.
I'm in.
That won't fly though. We have to have room for Carmen. Though we do get a lot longer to talk when she's not here. You listening, Carmen? I hope so. So I could ditto Pixie's shout outs because she just said it all. thank you very much for being here, Sarah. Shout out to all you
having me.
wonderful people that are here every week. And also remember, Carmen's going through a very hard time right now. A big shout out to her. Her grandma died. Her whole family is trying to get through that right now. And, she's trying to get the funeral set up, which I think is tomorrow. So, this is a hard time for her, guys. So a big shout out to her. All our heart, prayers, condolences, whatever you want to give her. Thank you. And with that said, I guess we're going to dance it out of here. Aegon, take us out.
You get to dance? I love
Yeah,
to
there's
dance.
supposed to be music, but you can't play
Okay.
music anymore. You can't
Do it without
hum.
music.
You can't hum. You can't do anything, or they'll silence you. So we could just talk and dance. Yeah, that's Twitch. That's Twitch. Yeah.
I know when we do Rebel Base now, we're like, oh wait, no, we can't do sound effects.
Yeah.
So we have to do
Well, you can if you're part of Maker Studios or one of those people that pay, right? So we talking that, right? So we are out, right, Aegon?